So it's week 7 of the NBA season, and you don't know what to do with your fantasy basketball team. Like everyone else, you got a bunch of injured players, you don't have enough IR spots, and you need to figure out where you're going to get some fantasy production. You're in luck, because in this episode, we're going to run down some of the top players that you need to pay attention to on the waiver wire for fantasy basketball. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. So quick check-in on my injury. Last week I told y'all I have a strained Achilles. Like this is a serious Kevin Durant level injury, right? This is not some hey, I bumped my toe. I'm out here playing basketball with my up-and-coming basketball's playing son, right? And he didn't cross me or nothing, but I definitely strained this Achilles. And yo, when I tell you, I was in bad shape, y'all. I left the court, didn't even know how bad I was injured. When I woke up in the morning, it was aching. By the end of the day, I was limping. But the good news is it is not a tear, right? And I'm on the mend. So I'll be back on the court soon, but just wanted to give you a quick update. Speaking of being on the mend, I know how you feel. Your team is on the mend. If you play on ESPN, you got a bunch of O's, red O's, next to the players on your roster. You got people who are very important pieces of your team, like LaMelo Ball, out. You know what I'm saying? Chet Holmgren, out. You got all of these injured players, and you're trying to figure out how to navigate that. In this episode, we're going to help you out. So we're going to jump right into the value. The first person that we're going to talk about is a player that I've been wanting to cover since the Summer Olympics. When I tell you, I saw this young man playing in the Olympics, and I was like, that dude is a freaking monster, like a beast. And he had a highlight play where he dunked on LeBron James. He totally posterized the king. And now where he is, the team he plays for has a bunch of injuries, and he's going to get some run from the Philadelphia 76ers, Guerschon Yabusele. Oh, baby, it is going down. Now, you know the story with the Sixers, right? The Sixers are all the way banged up. Their daggone locker room looked like a ER triage type situation. They got players coming in with IV, needles in their arm. Lord forgive me, I'm joking. I'm not saying that they're sticking needles in their arm. I'm sorry. But I would say this. I don't give a shit su puppy. I've been telling y'all since the offseason, be easy when it comes to Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid has been banged up. He's their primary big man. But I was watching the game the other night. Philadelphia was playing, and one of my favorite players, Andre Drummond, goes down with an injury. Now, it is an ankle injury. It looks like there's no structural damage, but there's no timeline for his return. And one area where the 76ers are struggling is in the front court. With that being said, a player like your man, Yabusele, where is it? Can I point at it? Your man Yabusele right here? Come on, man. You know what it is. Top is off. Boobies is out. Hair blowing in the frickin' wind. Your man is about to cook up with hot grease. He ain't even gonna cook up with hot grease. He gonna cook up with the baking soda. Pusha T status with the baking soda he's about to cook up. So if he's available on your waiver wire, I would grab him, stream him, do what you got to do with him. Just monitor closely, especially with Andre Drummond out. He's only rostered in 3.3% of ESPN leagues. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 31.7 minutes per game, which is up from his season average of 23.4 minutes per game. He's averaging 11.7 points per game over the last 7 days, which is up from his 9.7 points per game average on the season. There's more. Listen up close. 7 rebounds per game over the last 7 days, up from his season average of 5.5. And there is more. Your man is averaging a little less than a block a game, about 0.7 blocks a game over the last 7 days. So listen, for me, this is a player I've been eager to speak about. I just really didn't have any reason to, you know what I'm saying? But this is a great sign. I will note on the 27th of November against Houston, he played 43 minutes, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Those are the type of fantasy stats that will help you win your matchup. If I were you, I would grab myself some Guerschon Yabusele. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your #1 source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL, to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. The next player we want to talk about is another challenging name to say. One thing I would say to all of my content creators out there, especially if you're doing fantasy basketball, not even fantasy basketball, just NBA content, do your best to pronounce these people's names right, man. Because, like, my name is Robin Marks, right? If somebody was calling me, like, Randy Marks, I would be hot, right? I would be heated. I might crash out. Calling me Randy? Did you just call me Randy Marks? My name is Robin Marks, fam. Now I get it. Some people call me Believe because the name of my show is Believe in Fantasy Basketball, and my handle on most social media platforms is Believe in Fantasy. So people call me Believe, and I'm okay with that. But don't be calling me Randy. Just like we shouldn't be calling these people outside their name, yo. It's wild. Some people, and I've seen some content creators in the NBA space and in the NFL space, like how they say something like, however you say his name. Like, come on, man, just try. There's actually websites that will help you to pronounce their names. And one thing I would note, a lot of the international players, they say their name differently in their homeland and in their home language than Americans say it. So it's okay if you say it the American way, but just do your best. And I know I jack up names all the time, but just know I'm trying my best to pronounce their names correctly. With that being said, this guy has another difficult name to say. He is going to take advantage of a key injury on a team that needs some backcourt play. I'm talking about from the Charlotte Hornets. Vasilije Micic. Now, over the last 7 days, he is averaging 26.3 minutes per game. Yes. On the season, he's averaging 17.9. See the contrast there. Over the last 7 days, 10 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4.7 assists. Yes. And a little less than a steal a game. Only rostered in 2.6% of ESPN leagues. Now, LaMelo Ball went down. We hoped that it wouldn't happen, but kind of thought and knew that it would. That was a risk for people who were drafting LaMelo Ball. But the good news is this. He's only going to be out for a couple of weeks, right? This is not a season-ending red alert type of situation. So Micic is going to have some temporary value here, right? So for me, this is the kind of player that in this next couple of weeks, he is going to produce at a high level. In his last game on November 30th against Atlanta, he played 34 minutes, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and check this out. Come close. 2 steals. Your man is racking up the defensive stats. Your man is getting the assists. He's also putting the ball in the hole. This is an experienced basketball player. This guy played overseas for years and was one of the top players. So just know that when he gets the minutes, he performs. Last season, I grabbed him, picked him up off of the waiver wire in a couple of leagues when LaMelo Ball was out. And he cooked up. He was cooking with hot bacon grease. I mean, your man won me several. Let me repeat that. Won me several fantasy basketball titles. So I'm not saying that he's going to do that this season because I don't know when LaMelo's coming back. But over this next couple of weeks, you want to make sure this gentleman is not on your waiver wire. The next player we want to talk about is somebody I believe we've covered slightly on this channel. I don't know if we featured him. We might have talked about him in our rapid fire waiver wire where we list just a bunch of players you need to keep an eye on, and we'll do that later on in this show, so stick around. But this gentleman, I believe, is going to provide some solid value this week and for the next couple of weeks, as long as he stays healthy, honestly. But that's something that we've had a struggle with him. It's been kind of tough for him to stay healthy. But right now, he's on the floor. From the Atlanta Hawks, DeAndre Hunter. Over the last 7 days, DeAndre Hunter is averaging 28.5 minutes per game, 19 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 1.5 assists per game. And that's not far off of his season average. On the season, he's averaging 27.3 minutes, 18.2 points, and the exact same amount of rebounds, 4.3 rebounds per game. So this is something that can be sustainable. This is the kind of production you can get from him on a consistent basis. The issue that we've had with him, he don't play. He don't play. He's banged up. He's not on the floor. But right now, while he is, if he's available in your league, this is someone I would consider only rostered in 22% of ESPN leagues. If you love this community and want to invest in what we're building, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. Think of it like treating me to a coffee and bagel once a month. Becoming a paid subscriber will grant you access to our MVP Discord channel, priority DM and email replies, and priority rate my team videos. And most importantly, your support will help us to keep creating content. You're not obligated or expected to pay anything to consume this content or be a part of this community, but there are expenses associated with running this operation, and your support will help keep this thing going for years to come. To get started, visit BelieveInFantasy.com. Enter your email address and select the level of support that works best for you. The next player we want to take a look at is someone that I really like. And honestly, because of the name, I thought to myself, well, he's just kind of like a consistent waiver wire guy that you cycle in and out to stream. But recently, I'm starting to think differently, and I don't know what size your league is. If you're in a 14-team league, he might need to just stay on your roster. 12-team league, he might not be your worst player the way he's been performing over the last few games. From the Detroit Pistons, Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley is only rostered in 20.1% of ESPN leagues. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 17 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 1 steal. Cade Cunningham was banged up this week, and it was kind of a strange injury. People thought that he was going to be out for an extended period of time, but he made it back and he played pretty quick, but I think he went day to day after that. I'm not sure, but I know he did have a couple of games where he didn't play, or a game or two that he didn't play, and Malik Beasley had some increased value. Now, I had concerns about him being able to sustain the value with Cade coming back. But it's like he's producing even when Cade is there. And most importantly, he's getting the minutes. On the season, he's averaging 28.7 minutes per game, right? Check this out. On the 30th of November against Philadelphia, he played 27 minutes, 19.6 rebounds, 4 assists. On the 29th of November against Indiana, this is on a back-to-back. Your man played 29 minutes, 25 points. Let that sink in. This is a waiver wire guy, a guy that's available widely across the board, probably the same thing on Yahoo. 29 minutes he played, scored 25 points. On the 27th, he played less minutes, but still was productive. 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. So if he's available, at least to stream. And one thing, this is a nugget, so pay attention to this one. When you stream a player, you don't have to commit to always dropping that player. Someone else on your roster might convert or switch or turn or get demoted into being your streaming slot, right? There might be another person on your team who is not putting up the numbers that a Malik Beasley is putting up, that you might want to swap them out if you have one streaming spot. Now, if you have multiple streaming spots, it might be difficult to hold on to a player like Malik Beasley, especially if you're in a 10-team league, 8-team league, smaller leagues. But you want to pay attention. You never know who's going to turn into this year's Jalen Johnson. I don't think it will be Malik Beasley, but this is something generally across the board for waiver wire guys. You want to monitor them when they're hot. I'm not really dropping a player who just put up the kind of numbers he put up over the last few games. I'm going to hold if I can. If I can. The next player we want to talk about, we have not spoken about. I don't think ever on this channel, not in this capacity. But the numbers don't lie. Your man is on fire. He is really doing his numbers. And honestly, I'm excited to talk about him. From the San Antonio Spurs, Julian Champagnie. Oh, baby. Anybody that got champagne in their name, come on, man. Come on, man. Except for Drake. Oh, man, I didn't say Drake. I don't want to get sued. I did not say Drake's name. I do not want to get sued. My bad. With that being said, Julian over the last 7 days is averaging 33.5 minutes per game. Huh? Where they do that at? How is your man playing 33.5 minutes per game? 16.5 points per game over the last 7 days. 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists. But check this out. Come close. Over the last 7 days, 2 steals per game. I love it. On the 27th against the Lakers, he had 18 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. On the 26th against Utah, this is a back-to-back. 36 minutes, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. Let that sink in. Now, San Antonio, they've had their share of injuries this season, so I know that might play a part in this value for Champagnie. But listen, the numbers don't lie. Your man is he's putting on for the city, right? Only rostered in 9.3% of ESPN leagues. Grab yourself some Julian Champagnie. Wait. This is super important. We need you to be a two-way player. We need you to play offense, and we need you to play defense. What do I mean? On offense, we need you to watch the YouTube version of this show. And on defense, we need you to listen to the audio podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you want to go above and beyond, you can leave us a 5-star review. We create all of this content for free. But if you want to support the channel, all you have to do is watch us on YouTube, offense, and listen on your favorite podcast network that is defense. We need you to be a two-way player. Now we're going to do our world famous rapid fire waiver wire, where I'm going to run down just a bunch of names. To give you context, throughout the week, I'm reading articles, I'm watching statistics, I'm also listening to other podcasts. Big shout out to any and everybody in the fantasy basketball community. So many amazing creators out there, and I'm grateful to be a part of this family. And I get so much good information, right? So I just can't use it all. I can't do a 2-hour episode, right? So I try to pick the players to do these features on that I feel are the most valuable or the most interesting to talk about. So for me, I've been wanting to talk about some of these players that I highlighted earlier. But this rapid fire, we're just going to go all the way off. Some of these people have to be on rosters. Some of these people are just people you need to take a look at. Okay, first up, Shaedon Sharpe. He needs to be on the roster. Jalen Wilson, Benedict Mathurin. Spencer Dinwiddie has been cooking. Mark Williams is coming back. If he's not back already, if he's available on your waiver wire, grab him and stash him. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, Quentin Jackson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared McCain should not be on any waiver wire, y'all. Alex Caruso, Tumani Kamara, Buddy Hield, Matisse Buzilis, Duncan Robinson, Malcolm Brogdon should not be on the waiver wire. He was our featured player last week's show, and he's still out here on the waiver wire. Grab him if he's available. Zion Williams is banged up right now, but he might have some value later on. Nick Richards, if he's on your waiver wire, he's coming back soon. If he's not back already, guys, make sure he's not on the waiver wire. Chris Dunn, Tariq Eason, Jay Crowder, who's back in the NBA. Love it. Robert Williams III should not be on the waiver wire. Scottie Pippen Jr., Jonathan Isaac, Kelly Oubre Jr., Alex Sarr, Miles McBride, Yves Missi, Mike Conley, Isaiah Stewart, Brandon Pajimski, Grady Dick, Peyton Watson, Onyeka Okongwu, Clint Capella, Ben Simmons, Marcus Smart, Ayo Dosunmu, Dalton Connect, Wendell Carter Jr., Najee Marshall, Stephen Castle, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Malik Monk should not be on the waiver wire, y'all, and Derek Jones Jr. The next thing we want to do is talk about the players we highlighted last episode. And I'll be honest, we want to make sure we do like a report so you can see like, hey, how'd he do? Was it worth picking up? How'd you do, Robin? And I'm going to let you know off the rip, we were hit by the injury bug with this list. So I'll raise my hand and say, my bad. I told you to pick them up. If you picked them up, hopefully you dropped them in most cases. But yeah, this wasn't good. But the first player was good. Malcolm Brogdon. Yes, we hit there. Quentin Grimes, he got the minutes, but he was banged up. So heck to the Caleb Martin from Philly, he was banged up, and he had one dud. So he had one game where he had a dud and he was banged up. Heck to the But his brother, Cody Martin, yes, we did well there. Zach LaRavia, yes, he had one dud, but other than that was solid. Jaden McDaniels also had one dud, but was solid. Yes, Anthony Black was mid. Heck to the I am out on Anthony Black. Donovan Clingan, it was a great suggestion, but he was out. So heck to the Now that you know the waiver wire targets for Week 7, check out this episode about buy lows and sell highs for fantasy basketball. This episode was presented to you by BetOnline.